Thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of the Journey Journal with me, Oscar Camejo. Today is Sunday, May the 8th, 2022. Now, if this is your first time joining us, thank you. I really appreciate you being here. The Journey Journal is a spinoff of my main podcast that's released every Wednesday. That podcast is called the Beating Diabetes Podcast. So the Journey Journal, as I said, is really more of a laid back format where you kind of hear some tips and some advice that I give on how to build your lifestyle and to get your journey going towards better health. So with that, I like to always tell people and remind them what this podcast is all about. It's for diabetics who are overweight and have unhealthy nutritional habits, and basically are in need of guidance for transforming their lives in order to reverse type 2 diabetes. Plain and simple. My goal is to help diabetics make lifestyle changes to reverse type 2 diabetes. Now, the Journey Journal is published every Monday, basically at the beginning of the week. And then on Wednesdays, the main podcast, the Beating Diabetes Podcast, is published on Wednesdays. So definitely make sure you tune in each week on Mondays and Wednesdays. So for this week's journal entry in the Journey Journal, I wanted to go in a different direction. You see, I get a lot of comments and questions that are sent to me by social media, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or even TikTok. Okay, so before I get into responding to those questions and comments, I wanted to ask you a quick question. You know, those salad dressings that we love to pour over our quote unquote healthy salads, the ones that taste so good? Yeah, you know which ones I'm talking about. I had a couple of favorites myself. A lot of those are filled with so much sugar. I couldn't believe it. When I started paying attention to the nutritional facts on the labels on the back of a lot of these products, it just blew me away as to how much sugar and added sugar they add to these things. So I decided to start making my own homemade salad dressing. So if you're interested in the recipe for my homemade salad dressing, stick around to the end, okay? Don't go anywhere. So about my week, I always like to start off with talking about weight, you know, losing fat versus building muscle, because a lot of times we get hung up on, well, how much do I weigh today? Or how much did I weigh at the beginning of the week? You know, or man, I ate this particular thing and I just feel heavier. And then we get on the scale and we just get hung up on what the scale says. But as I've been sharing with you all each week, I don't want you to get hung up on how much you weigh, but rather focus on fat loss and building muscle. I started the week at 185.06 pounds, but I gained roughly around 4 pounds. I ended up at 189. I'm building muscle, but I'm losing fat. And I think that's a goal that we should strive for, is to lose that visceral fat around, mainly for guys, in the midsection area. For ladies, it may be in the hips, as well as in the stomach area, underneath the arms or the back of the arms. We want to focus on losing fat and burning fat, but building muscle. Because you know what? We definitely want to keep our muscles healthy. And I'll get more into that in a different episodes. But I definitely want to make sure that you're focusing on losing fat or burning fat and building muscle, and not just losing weight. Okay, in terms of exercise and working out, for those of you who've been following me for a while, you know that I go to the gym Monday through Fridays. I work out for about 2 hours roughly in the gym. Before, when I first started in the gym, when I was 268 pounds or so, it was hard to get through 15 minutes of working out, let alone a whole hour. So this past week, I did 5 rigorous days in the gym. That's doing a lot of high intensity interval workouts, a lot of, they call it HIIT training, and cardio. I do plyometrics and so forth. I like to be active when I'm in the gym. not just standing and lifting weights. So it was a pretty good week in the gym. I was a little tired a couple of days just because I had gone to bed later than I wanted to or should have. And that's another thing. On another episode, we'll talk about sleep and the importance of getting regular sleep and quality sleep. On Saturday, yesterday, I felt really good. I felt good enough to go out and actually trail run, running in the woods on terrain and not just on the streets, but through rocks and grass and like the forest and whatnot. So that's something I really like doing. I did about 4.6 miles. Now, the reason why I even talk about exercising is because a lot of us, when it comes to mobility, we don't get out and exercise enough. Now, does that mean you have to go running in the woods too, or running in the streets, or even running on the treadmill? No, not necessarily. I mean, even taking a brisk walk for 10 minutes after you eat, or making it a routine that when you get up in the morning before you go to work, you take a walk, or let's say if you do go to the gym and you get on the Stairmaster or the treadmill, really put in the work, challenge yourself to go a little bit further, a little bit harder than you did before. Of course, within reason. If you have some limitations, because of your knees or your ankles or what have you, you definitely want to be careful. And be smart when you go to the gym. So we could talk more about that. Okay, so now let's get into the comments. Because, a lot of people ask, what is it that I eat? They simply want to know, Oscar, I see the transformation. I see the pictures that you post on social media. What is it that you're eating? What is it that you're doing to maintain this lifestyle? Because you know what? I'm very upfront with people. I show them the before pictures when I was 268 pounds, hospitalized, all the way up until what I look like now. And people get blown away. I mean, as a matter of fact, I went to the grocery store the other day and got into a conversation with one of the cashiers. It was an older lady. You could tell, she was a little overweight. And we just started talking about healthy options and living a healthy lifestyle. So, she was blown away when I showed her my before pictures, and she wanted to get more information. So I was able to do that. So let me go ahead and read some of the comments and questions that came in. Now, because of the nature of some of these comments, I'm not going to name the actual persons. Okay, so this first one came in from, we'll just call this person RW. I am type 2 diabetic. When I was diagnosed in August 2021, my A1C was 10.8. Then a few months, I had it down to 5.8. Now it's climbed to 6.7. I'm severely overweight and dealing with depression. I saw your post on Facebook. Can you please give me some advice on what you did? What was your diet like? And what was your workouts like? See, I get comments like this all the time and my heart goes out. Wow. So here's another question and comment that came in from AG. They were also responding to a post that I put on social media. That's awesome. How did you get the motivation and energy to start doing all of that? My sugars are controlled now, but I'm so tired all the time. I've gained weight since being diagnosed last December. Granted, part of that was because I had very minimal activity for almost 3 months. I just want to be in a better place with myself, and it appears you definitely have it. Wow. In general, folks, when it comes to my eating, I don't believe weight loss and beating diabetes has to be so complicated. Here's another one by JB. Is your healthy eating low carb? Or what kind of healthy eating are you doing? So to be honest, when it comes to my food and my drink, I basically cold turkey cut sodas, fruit juices, energy drinks, or any sugary drinks. I focus on drinking water only. Now, of course, I make my own smoothies in the morning, as I mentioned in a previous episode, because I want to know what is it that I put in my smoothies. I stopped going to the smoothie place because a lot of their smoothies just had a bunch of sugar. So I had to stop doing that. So when it comes to food, I eat a big helping of veggies with every meal. And that's no lie. I eat vegetables now more than I had growing up and even into my adult life. Then I eat a protein, which is either salmon, chicken, or some type of other fish like bass. I do brown rice occasionally, but overall, I stick to a Mediterranean style eating. I don't do any of the like keto diets or any of these special diets that are out there, these trendy and fad type diets. I just, not that I don't believe in them, but I want to do something that could be more of a lifestyle, that this is how I'm going to live for the rest of my life. So I stick to a Mediterranean diet. When I was diagnosed pre-diabetic, this is about maybe a year before I was diagnosed and had an episode with type 2 diabetes. The nurse practitioner told me on one doctor visit that I should adopt the Mediterranean lifestyle of eating. And I didn't take it serious at the time, and I wish I had. So if you're diagnosed as pre-diabetic, jump on top of things right now and take it very serious. Or even if you have type 2 diabetes, I recommend a Mediterranean diet that becomes your lifestyle. Now, that doesn't mean you give up like foods that you like. I just want you to choose better options. Now, something about the Mediterranean diet that some people probably get kind of weary about, it's the oils, like the olive oils and the fats. Well, fats are good for you. I know there was a time where people were like, hey, low fat diets, but the body uses either carbohydrates or fats for energy. So you want to put healthy fats in your body, not the harmful fats in your body. We can talk more about that, but I just wanted to kind of go over those questions with you all, just so you can see that there are real people out there just like you and me who want to change their lifestyle around, and they come to people like me and who have proven results. Listen, you're following me and you're listening to this podcast because hopefully you can see that you can relate to what I've gone through, and I can relate to what you're going through, because we've been there. We know what it is like to have this type 2 diabetes diagnosis and this disease that we're fighting. We're not going to let this thing win. So let's switch gears. If you want to submit a question or learn more about losing weight and changing your lifestyle to reverse type 2 diabetes, go ahead and email me at hello@beatingdiabetieslifestyle.com. Again, that's hello@beatingdiabetieslifestyle.com. Also on Wednesday, episode 3 is going to be released. Now, the name of that episode is called Sugar Daddy, how to handle sugar cravings. Listen, if you have a sweet tooth and have cravings for sweet things all the time, you definitely don't want to miss that episode. Episode 3 comes out on Wednesday, so tune in. So earlier, I had promised that if you stuck around, I'll give you a tip on making your own homemade salad dressing. Now, this salad dressing is a basil pesto olive oil salad dressing. I love this salad dressing. Now that I started making my own salads at home, whether it's for lunch or for dinner, I pour this on all of my salads. Now, this goes into that whole Mediterranean style eating, as I mentioned earlier. So here are the ingredients: 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, 2 tablespoons of basil pesto, and black pepper. Go ahead and mix those together in a bowl, and there you have it. That's it. Really simple. So here's a bonus tip. If you want to make enough for the entire week, just go ahead and double up on your ingredients. Make as much as you want. Get yourself a glass mason jar. It could be a small one or a medium-sized one, and pour your salad dressing inside the mason jar. and take it to work with you, or just leave it in the refrigerator or leave it out so that you can have it at arm's reach whenever you're ready to pour it on your salad. So here are my final thoughts. I want to leave this homework assignment with you. And I think it's going to help you to make some changes. Change doesn't have to be immediate, but it should be gradual. Make those small changes so that it can become a lifestyle. It's not a flash in the pan type change, but it's something that you can do now and gradually build into your life as a lifestyle. So this week, number one, examine your lifestyle of eating. That's looking at everything. What is it that you normally eat on a regular basis? Not because it's a holiday or a special occasion, but what is it that you normally eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks? Look at all of that. Just even go in your kitchen right now with a pen and paper and just look around. What is it that you always buy? Open up the refrigerator. And number two, take note of what needs to be eliminated. You want to look for those unhealthy foods. Now, if you're not sure about something, kind of set that to the side, but put a question mark by it. But those things that you know for sure 100% is unhealthy, put that down as something that you know you need to eliminate. And finally, number three, I want you to find an alternative healthy option to those things that need to be replaced. Now, when it comes to building a lifestyle to reverse type 2 diabetes, that doesn't mean you give up things that you like. It just means getting rid of the things that are unhealthy for you and choosing better options. And that's what I want you to do as a final thing. Look at your list and start doing some research. What are some things that need to be replaced with better and healthier options? Now, at some point, I am going to do an episode just on this notion of moderation and what moderation means to some people. I have a problem with what some people believe as being moderation. Like you may hear some person on TikTok or social media says, "Oh, just eat in moderation. Oh, just have whatever you want. Enjoy yourself. Just do it in moderation." Well, one person's moderation may be different from another person's, and it just really can be very confusing. I don't feel that healthy living needs to be that complicated, folks. So let me get off that soapbox for now, but I am going to get back on it at some point. In any case, thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of The Journey Journal. Thank you for tuning in. As always, I appreciate your support. Definitely subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already. And do me a favor, let's spread the word. So I need your help. Share this episode and my whole channel with someone that you know, especially if you know they're dealing with type 2 diabetes or they're pre-diabetic. So for now, stay focused, keep moving, never go back. Trust God. You got this. I believe in you.